Hello and welcome to the Screen Chronicles. I'm Steve, and with me as always is Colby, the hungry griffin. Caw-caw! Caw-caw!
That's true.
No,
That's
put him
true. I
down!
am
Put him
very
down!
Do you know how annoying it is to have people say that every time I walk by? Anywhere I go. They do that whole thing. Put him down.
I just
Put him
picture
down.
you flying over a city, just like stealing sheep, to take back
Yeah.
your nest of baby griffins.
Just like swooping in like a dragon. Just like in my giant feet. But we're not here to talk about my feet today. We're here to talk about episode 8 of WandaVision. And it was very interesting.
I really like this one. So we can talk about it. Spoiler alert out there for people. If you haven't seen episode 8 of WandaVision, go see that, then come back and listen to this. Because we are going to talk spoilers, details about the plot, all that fun stuff, Easter eggs, references, our theories too. We're going to theorize what the heck is going on. So make sure you go watch, get caught up, and we're going to spoil everything prior to this episode as well. In general though, I really dug this one. I mean, there's a few times I thought I was going to like tear up a little, I mean,
I think I know what you're talking about.
I thought they did really well with this. I mean, this is how you do a character justice through, like a TV show and give them a really cool backstory, and flesh it out. You know what I mean? Like, it was just so great seeing her real reruns as as Agatha, not Agnes, described it. And it was kind of like an active form of like therapy too for her, I guess.
Yeah, it was, because at first she was very resistant to doing it.
Yeah.
And she was like, no. And then she was just kind of buying into it. And like, I think like what we don't realize is these were all these things that she was suppressing, all these memories she did not want to think about. And she's confronting them now.
Yeah.
And I also want to give a nice shout out to Catherine Hahn, because she is fantastic. She's been fantastic as Agatha and Agnes in this. I mean, the versatility she's played, and now as she's like, we know who she is now. And that's where the episode actually starts, is back in Salem in 1693.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and
the American
she's
colonies.
Being confronted. Yeah, she was being confronted by her coven for apparently not. She's like learned some knowledge that's above her status of some kind in her coven.
Dark magic too, I think, is what she was practicing.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have kind of like
confused at first because
it was like a reverse witch trial too.
I know, because they're like, "Are you a witch?" And I was like, "They all look like witches.
You're all witches."
What is she gonna say? No, and they're gonna burn her. So we have this fake witch, this weird reversed witch trial thing where she's like up on this thing, and instead of burning her when she's being punished for learning some kind of advanced magic or dark magic, right? Mm-hmm. And these witches just start force lightning her with
unlimited power.
No, but you know who does go with the unlimited power is Agnes.
Agnes. Is it Agatha?
Oh, I keep saying it's Agatha.
All right, we're really probably going to keep messing that up, people.
Yeah.
Yeah, she like so Agatha, them. She's like, thank you for that.
Well, and she like reverses it. Mm-hmm. So it turns from a blue beam to a purple beam, like Agnes' purple beam. And it goes back to them, and it like makes them super old.
Mm-hmm. But then and it turns out too, the one who's like leading it, who's her mom, she's like, Mom.
I know.
And I really like too how she did like this switch too, where she's like, why are you doing this? I'm just innocent or whatever. And they're like, cut it out. Like, we know you're playing. And she's like, all right. And
yeah. And her mom, like when her mom tried to zap her, she had this like cool blue crown.
Yeah.
It was cool.
I think I saw a video on this, and I had no idea about this, but I noticed it, but apparently there is another character that has like a magic crown thing from Atlantis in the MCU. So they're wondering if that might be like a reference to that. And then we might be setting up like the Atlantean MCU thing, within the next 10 years or something like that they're like, remember that one time in WandaVision when
Oh my
her
God.
crown was there. Um,
Did you see that new list of all of the new Marvel stuff coming out in like the next 3 years?
I have not. No.
Oh, it's like
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's crazy. We have two exciting things coming up. We got Falcon and Winter Soldier and Loki shortly after that coming
That's
out.
right,
So a
Loki
lot of
too.
exciting stuff. And we don't have to wait very long after Falcon and Winter Soldier, or after WandaVision for
I know,
Falcon and
right?
Winter Soldier.
Isn't that kind of odd how that all works out? That the one show ends and it's like a week later, the next one begins. So you can't cancel your subscription. And it's week to week. Um,
It's almost like they did it on purpose.
Interesting, Disney. How did you? Why were you? Huh?
Stop taking our money, Disney.
Come on, Disney. You got enough money. You got all the things, but it's a good show, so you got that.
Yeah.
And like I said,
Disney
this
Plus
one
overall.
benefits from being week to week. It does.
Yeah.
I think like The Boys.
Oh my God, yeah.
Had me cliffhanger at times, but that one could have been a binge. You know what I mean?
I could have binged that. But yeah, WandaVision is great because there's so many things to absorb in WandaVision and to soak in and to digest.
You really just need a week to appreciate it.
Yeah,
digest
and
it.
you pick up on more things as you go, know, and by the time the next one comes out, you think you've had it figured out, and you have time to make your predictions, and then I think we've been pretty good with our predictions, honestly. And I think this episode confirmed, and it also busted a couple of our theories.
Yes. After that, we see Agatha's sort of origin story there. She ends up killing her mom too with the reverse magic power. So it's setting her up as a bad guy. And it seemed like at the end of the previous episode, she was also a bad guy.
A super freaking powerful witch.
Powerful one. Yeah. Powerful. And yes, like you're saying, a powerful witch. And so I was kind of thinking then, we were kind of even theorizing, all right, Agatha was behind it all along. And so I'm kind of thinking
it was Agatha all
that's it.
along.
Agatha all along. I had the tune. So I was kind of thinking, all right, she's definitely a bad guy then, and maybe she's the one controlling what's going on in this world or influencing it a little bit more. But we find out when they're talking, she was actually trying to wake Wanda up. When she fumbled through her scene, that was like her trying to like break Wanda out of character and be like, oh yeah. So like it wasn't to keep her in there. It was to actually wake her up. And what she wants is to actually learn how she's so powerful, because she even like she says it like with envy, like look, it takes me like so much power to turn this cicada into a little birdie, and you're like turning people into other people and clothing and helicopters,
doing an entire town.
Yeah, and you're not even around like everything.
I think she says like on autopilot. She said
magic on autopilot. So she
So
wants to figure out
to me
how she's doing it.
Yeah, exactly. She wants to figure out. I also think it was part of my prediction that she was trying to exploit the situation.
Yeah.
So I think after episode 7, we had some questions about, did she create this world, and put Wanda in it? Or did she just see it happening and trying to exploit it? And that's kind of what I was leaning toward. And so that is what she was trying to do. She noticed like how powerful this being is, and like, oh my God, like how is she doing this? I want to be able to do this too.
From that conversation and then the flashback, we eventually find out that it was 100% Wanda that made this world. Yeah. So that settles that.
So the question is too, why is Agatha so interested in trying to learn this? Did she lose somebody that she wants to try to bring back? Is she just jealous of Wanda and want to be the most powerful witch? Like that's it.
That's where I'm leaning. Is she wants to be more powerful and she wants the magic, right? Because that's what we saw from her flashback, right? She's willing to try the dark magic stuff too. She wants the power.
Or does she just see Wanda as like a threat? And like at the end of we'll get to the end of the episode, but at the end of the episode, it seems like she thinks Wanda's a dangerous character who might pose a threat to her or
the universe.
So we'll get there. But so basically that flashback scene with Agatha went to her satanic temple in her basement. Wanda is there, and Wanda like tries to start using magic, And Agatha's like, duh, you can't use magic in here, dum dum. Look at the runes.
Runes.
You know, we learned that in elementary magic school, Wanda. Like, come on.
Come on. Come on. She wasn't paying attention. And the thing is, too, the runes were in pentagon shapes, too.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is pentagony.
Was it pentagon or hexagon?
That's the word, hexagon. Pentagon is 5 sides. Hexagon is more than 5.
6. Yes.
Oh!
Whoa. Whoa, there's something on the other side of your screen? That almost makes me want to believe that there's something beyond the ice wall that forms our flat Earth.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. You wish.
I know. No, it's just nothingness. There's nothing there.
The void, man. That's the void.
Yeah, it's the void.
You fall off out there.
Agatha also, like, when Wanda tries to, I think, run toward the door or back up, Agatha, like, grabs her with her magic and just, like, ties her up, hog ties her up with her magic. And then she starts, like, explaining all these things and kind of also explaining to the audience of, like, what Wanda was doing. And she demonstrates on a little bug there. The first thing she does is, like, mind controls it. So it reminds me of the scene from Harry Potter where Professor Moody was demonstrating the unforgivable curses, Cruciatus curse, and it's kind of what it reminded me of. Imperio, yes. So it would be Imperio, right?
Yeah, the mind control one.
She controls it, and so she controls the cicada. And this part, I was trying to picture your face during this part because I know this was just gonna gross you out. Like she has the bug just crawling on her face and over her mouth.
Yeah.
Like, and Wanda's just like. No, Wanda kind of took it like a champ, but it was pretty gross.
It was so gross.
And then she does what you talked about before, the transmutation. Kind of demonstrates, she's like, it takes years of magic just to learn how to make a convincing illusion. And you did an entire town, like super easily. And then she throws the bird into the bunny's mouth.
Bunny's like, nom, 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 nom.
It turned back into the bug, but still.
Yeah. So it was better when it was a bug.
That was the Avada Kedavra.
Avada Kedavra. And just Neville sitting in the back like, oh.
And then she like lets Wanda down and she like takes her hair and is like, we're going to watch some of your reruns because I want to know how you did this.
Exactly. That's the big thing is she's like, I want to know, like, how did this happen? And Wanda's like, I don't know. I have no idea how this happened. And we heard that from Pietro. And she even says, he was my eyes and ears. Like, I wasn't him. And she even calls him fake Pietro. She's like, well, not fake Pietro. Yeah. So we know then, like, that she wants to know, right? She wants to know how she made this. And then she's like, all right, you're going to come with me.
If you go back and rewatch that Halloween episode with Pietro, he gets so close because remember when they sat down at the park during the town gathering and he's like, how'd you even do this, Wanda?
Mm-hmm.
That was Agatha trying to get it out of Wanda that way.
Yeah.
Without having to directly confront her.
And I wonder too if that's why he said you're going to worry about your dead husband dying or something like that.
Yeah.
Before she like bitch slapped him with magic. I wonder if that was again Agatha trying to wake Wanda up, so she could act her. But yeah, she's like, well, you're going to come with me. Now we're going to go down memory lane. And Wanda's like, no thanks. And she's like, well, if I don't, you don't, I'm going to eat your kids. Like definitely going to eat those kids.
Yeah, it's just pretty much like, yeah.
So she goes
and then you can hear the kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're like, no.
Yeah.
No. The first place they go then is Wanda's past when she's a little kid. And I think we'd even talked about this in our first one, that's why we were thinking maybe it was a sitcom, is Wanda was maybe a fan of American sitcoms growing up. And that was sort of her escapism. That's what it turns out.
It was our prediction. Yeah.
They even have like in the background, it's like still this war-torn Sokovia going on here. There's like people literally out in the streets with guns. And the dad comes home and he just opens up the box of sitcoms, DVDs and stuff. And They sit down as a family and watch that. Little Wanda, Pietro, Mama Twin, Dada Twin. They're all sitting
Notice when the mom comes in after Wanda, because they kind of push real Wanda into the memory. Agnes pushes her in. She's like, "You're up." The mom comes up and puts her hands over Wanda's eyes, like from behind her. And if you remember from the very first episode, that's how they said that's the Sokovian welcome, as trying to cover up. Trying to cover up when they did that. Remember
the
when
eyes.
Wanda did that to covered the eyes.
Yeah, the Hart family, yeah.
So that was kind of a little fun Easter egg there.
Yeah, that was so many little things.
There's so many little cool things.
And we see most of the shows too that we would talk about references like Malcolm in the Middle, Dick Van Dyke, Bewitched, even. We're in that box, and she wanted to watch the
Dick Van Dyke.
Her favorite episode was this one, and I guess I have no idea what the episode was, but it was, I guess, an episode where this crazy dream happens in the Dick Van Dyke Show, where like aliens invade and things like that, and at the end it's all a dream, so like none of it really mattered. So that's kind of like a reference then to what's going on with the show, as far as her having this dream world that she has to wake up from,
Right.
Pretty wild. Right. So many levels to everything. It's crazy.
I know. And so she's watching this show with her family, and it's just like it brings her so much joy. You can see it on the little girl's face. By the way, the little girl looked nothing like Elizabeth Olsen. I just got to say, I didn't think she looked anything like her. But
it was also really the kids were also different actors too than the ones who were in Pietro's flashback when he was like, remember when we were doing Trick or Treat as kids? Like they were completely different actors.
Oh yeah, true.
So that was also like, obviously it's not the same realities what he was referencing. That's why she was like, I don't remember that,
Right. But this was supposed to actually be her. This is her memory.
So this is a real memory. So that's why it's different. And, she also has dark hair, and it seems like throughout time, I've even noticed this in the movies, like her hair seemed to have gotten redder every movie. Like it was kind of red, a little bit red in Age of Ultron, and then it was like flaming orange by Infinity War, and now this one. So I wonder what that is. If she's like coming more into her powers, kind of like the Phoenix from the X-Men cartoons, So yeah, and it's just a nice moment, all of them together, and you just like, well, obviously this isn't going to end well. Yeah. And next thing you know, bam, the Tony Stark bomb that she referenced back in Age of Ultron, talking about her and Pietro just waiting for Tony Stark to kill us, is how she said it. Because she's looking at the bomb that says Stark on it. And
like first her house blew up, her apartment blew up, and then she was hiding, and that's when the bomb struck and it didn't go off. And she's like waiting under the bed like for it, and it's like traumatizing. And the brother's like, we gotta get out of here, and she's like, we can't. And I'm like, why not? Try.
Yeah, they weren't really that trapped, I guess.
Yeah, and then she sees the show still going in the wreckage.
Yeah,
and she like starts watching it again behind the bomb while the blinking's going off. And so she sort of, in a way, finds that happy place again. And she's not happy, but it's like some sort of comfort. And then she says the line like, when it's all over, it was just a bad dream, So it was her way of coping with that situation.
She also reaches out to the bomb with her hand, and you're like, what is going on there? And Agatha's like, oh, so you did like some sort of freezing or some other sort of charm, basically saying you use magic to stop the bomb. And Wanda's like, no, it just never went off. And that doesn't seem to convince Agatha, though. And later, too, in the episode, she even says, the experiment was something that, like, brought back something that would have died off. Like, saying she basically had magic.
I thought that was an interesting point.
Yeah. Oh, so she already had powers. And again, too, if you go through like the comic book origins of her character, she was a mutant. So she was born with like powers. Her and her brother were Magneto's children. So they already had powers when they were born. So I wonder if they're going to kind of tie that in then.
Right.
So the next one then. after this, they go it's a very creepy lab.
Hydra lab.
Hydra lab.
But when the Hydra door opens, Agnes is like, so your parents got killed in a bombing, and you joined an anti-freedom terrorist organization? Like, what? She's like, we just wanted to change the world. And it shows this testing room with the what do you call that? What do you call the staff?
Scepter. Loki's scepter? I don't know if it ever had a name.
With Loki's scepter.
But it has the Mind Stone
has the Infinity
in it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it has these Hydra scientists, and they had the volunteer, Wanda, come into the room. And so Wanda was, joined Hydra and was volunteering for this. She was an activist in Sokovia as a teenager, growing up. She's like, so I just go and touch it? And the one scientist is like, doctor, like everybody's been like, he's killed everybody who's done this. And the doctor's like,
while he's on the mic.
Yeah.
Like, the mic is on. Mic up. He's like, everybody's dead who's done this. And he's like, shh.
No. I don't think he says that. I think he's like, he like alludes to, he's like, everyone who's done this. He's like, shut up.
But she volunteered.
Anyway, she starts walking. Yeah. So she's like, do I just touch it? And she starts walking toward it, and the thing like zips out of the staff. And it's like glowing, and it goes right up to her, and it explodes. And the Mind Stone's there. Right?
Yeah.
And in this explosion, it shows like Wanda's face, like it's like a giant fan, like is blowing her cheeks. She's just like, oh. It wasn't so glorious. It was just like, oh,
my eyes.
And but a sweet vision she has, and she sees like this awesome outline of the outline of that costume she wore in the Halloween episode and the one from the comics.
Yeah.
Like flying down above her.
It's like a silhouette. You don't really see the face though. So
super quick.
I'm almost wondering if this is like sort of a title she has, because at the end we end up hearing she's finally referred to. I guess she's never been referred to as the Scarlet Witch.
I know, this was surprising to me because I've always called her the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, we've all been calling her that. And everyone's like, and finally, when I was watching other videos and stuff, and I was like, oh, like we haven't been calling her that. And I remember too
calling her Wanda Witch or Wanda Maximoff.
I do remember the director though saying like, oh, she doesn't have any superhero name, she's just Wanda. Yeah. And I was just like, think she's Scarlet Witch. Maybe you guys just don't know, but you know all the details to what happened at Endgame in the battle. Literally who came in when, and who did what. Yeah. But you don't know her name. But anyway, apparently, like she's a Scarlet Witch, and to me it sounded kind of like a title. So I'm almost wondering if this is like a past life, if we're going like Avatar style here,
or if there's like in obviously Agnes is one of them OG witches, back from the Salem trials, So what's up? So maybe Scarlet Witch is like an old like legend or something, or like a, terminology that Agnes was taught in her witch school. Agatha, I should say.
At Hogwarts.
She was taught about this chaotic witch who doesn't control her powers. And back when Agatha was at Hogwarts.
Back in the old Hogwarts days. She sees that and passes out. And she goes back to her room and she's watching a sitcom. And it's really cool. Yeah. Again, what happens here. So this is the real world they're in right now, right?
Yeah.
But the guys try and rewatch the film of what happened because she touched the staff. And what we saw was the Infinity Stone expose itself to her. She saw the silhouette of like her comic books version of Scarlet Witch. And then we saw it drop, right? With the yellow explosion. Mm-hmm. Then the staff goes back to normal. They don't know what happens. They're trying to rewatch it on the security cam. And it just goes from her walking to bam, cut to laying on the floor.
Yeah.
Same kind of like cuts as like what the people see and what we see when we were watching the first like few episodes of WandaVision, when we were just like, what just happened there? She's controlling what we saw. And it was like the same thing there with that security cam. So that was really interesting. It's like, is that even something she's aware of then? She does? Or what was that? That was crazy. There is a weird moment in Age of Ultron when Captain America is confronting Strucker, I think the name is, of the Hydra guy.
Mhm.
And then Scarlet Witch comes in and like blasts him with magic down the stairs. And then he starts running up the stairs, and she like it looks like she like backs up and like closes the doors, and almost like it's like reverse time. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like I remember seeing that, and I was like, that was strange. And we never saw anything like that again from her.
Oh.
I just thought it was like a style sort of thing. I almost wonder if it was kind of the same thing as what she was doing there. You know what I mean? Like some sort of cover up reset thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was cool to see it here,
yeah,
though,
maybe.
in the real world, like with a security camera and not just her reality.
Yeah, totally. So it was pretty crazy. And again, she's in her cell, and what's comforting her? I think this one was the Brady Bunch, I think. Right? Yeah, it was the Brady Bunch in this instance. Yeah.
And it was interesting here too, because what she was watching was this these kids argue about a doll that was like fake, and but the girl was treating like a real kid.
Yeah.
Is that foreshadowing her kids, and like that she's gonna have to confront that they're not real or something? I don't know, man. That's gonna be rough. That's gonna be a rough one here next week, I'm thinking.
Or Vision. Maybe it's for Vision too. Like she's taking care of Vision, but he's not real. Like,
ooh, yeah.
Could be that too. But you're right. Maybe it's foreshadowing for the kids.
It might be Vision though.
So that's a good point though. That's a good catch, Steve. And then at this point too, I just want to mention that Wanda is like, at the beginning she was so resistant to this, but now she's just kind of like talking with Agatha and explaining all this. Like, it's therapy for her, and
yeah, it's
at this point.
Yeah, it's being a little more cathartic, I think.
Yeah, instead of being resistant to it. So then they go to the next door opens, and this one's in the Avengers headquarters. And she's just sitting on the bed, and she's actually watching Malcolm in the Middle, which is what I think a couple episodes ago it was based on. The Halloween episode was based on Malcolm in the Middle. I think that was 6. And basically she's like, Vision, come in, because Vision just be creeping outside that room. He'd just be standing on the other side of that wall, just like and he's like, I don't mean to intrude. And she's like, really? You don't mean to intrude?
And she says this is right after when Pietro died. So this is right after the Age of Ultron, right? So this is her brother, her twin brother, who she's known forever, who she went through experiments with, and all this stuff, just died. And now she's
so she's
distraught tower. Yeah, she's pretty messed up.
She's really messed up. She's like very, very down. And Vision comes in, and he's like, I don't pretend to know what you feel, because I literally can't feel anything. No, but he says it. So he's like really good with his words, because he was Jarvis, and, he's just very intelligent. So he's like, because I've never had, I've never felt the lack, because I've never had anybody. So I've never been able to feel the lack. So I can't pretend to know what you feel like, but maybe if you tried talking to me, it would make you feel better. And she's just like, how do you think that's going to help me to talk about it and bring it up? And his face when she says that is like, he's like a quick like, and then
it was really.
And then she's like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was really eloquent how he was like talking with her, and it really reminded me of like Star Trek Next Gen or other shows where like the robot character or the android or whoever who's always trying to be more human and relate to the humans, understand humanity, but then like says like the most like sensible human thing, that's what he did. But like Vision's always kind of had like some sort of feeling though. I remember at the end of Age of Ultron, he seems like sort of remorseful when he kills like the last Ultron,
Yeah, he does. And especially for Wanda, though, because they're connected through the Mind Stone. So his feelings are like he's the only person that he can like feel her emotions in a way. Somehow they're connected, basically.
Yeah.
And so he comes out with his line, talking about like the right thing to say. And he's like, what is grief if not love persevering? No, but damn, Vision coming out with these lines. What is up, Vision?
You about to get your circuits readjusted here after that.
Yes, yes, Vision. And yeah, she can't really take her eyes off him after that. So that's kind of the moment where she like falls in love with him. So we finally see that right now, and
yeah, that was a really good moment.
Were they? Yeah, it was an amazing moment, and I'm going to steal that line. I'm definitely gonna use that line at some point.
Oh, I just
very smooth Vision, very very smooth. And so Agnes has a very interesting line after that, and she's like, "Oh, so what happened when Vision wasn't there to pull you out of the darkness?"
Agatha was wiping away a tear too.
She was. So that the question is, was that like, because she was making a lot of funny faces, like sarcastic faces, but maybe that actually hit her.
Yeah, it might have been genuine.
Maybe that one actually hit her. That might have been genuine because
that was
Wanda wasn't looking at her. Me too.
That was getting me
too.
Man.
Yeah, that was amazing acting from Paul Bettany there, and Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah, again, they do so well.
Just fantastic teamwork there. After that, she's like, "So what did he do when he? What did you do when he wasn't there to bring you back?" Footage before of Wanda breaking into Shield, and she like blew the door open and then went into Vision's body, and to see his body. And I think we thought that, she stole the body.
Yeah, I just took that as that's what happened when we saw the footage, and I was like, it makes sense. He's there in the WandaVision world. Of course, she broke in and stole the body, right? But we see different sort of turn of events, and you do see her when she walks in. They do let her in the door though, but she does use magic to open it. And I was like, oh, that's kind of odd. Like they let her in, but she just sort of opened the door just kind of angrily because she's emotional. But when you're watching the footage that the director was showing people, he like kind of had it edited so it looked like she broke open the front door and then she barged in for Vision. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's like the rest of it is kind of like that. There are parts that really happened, but then there's some that just don't.
Yeah. And so she goes to Hayward, right?
Yeah.
And into his office, and he's still got his hexagon certificates. And he almost convinced me here. I almost bought it because he goes to her, and I mean, I think I was fooled at first. I think I was like, oh, so he was dismantling. He was trying to, because he tells her basically, he's like, look, what we're doing is we're taking him apart. Because let's face it, his office has a great view of Vision's dissection. And she's freaking out, like, what are you doing? Why are you pulling him apart and all this stuff? And he's like, we're dismantling the like only sentient weapon on the planet. He's like, we have an ethical and moral duty and legal duty to do this. Like, we've got to do this. And she's like, I just want to bury him. And he's like, we can't bury $3 billion of vibranium.
And I was like, you piece of crap.
Yeah. But it was like, oh, so he did want to at first, but no, we find out, that's not the case with Hayward. He was just lying to her, but she breaks the glass, and he is like, oh, the best I can do is let you just say goodbye to him here. And I'm just going to keep playing with his dead body.
Yeah. Like as soon as like he said, yeah, like I have to show you something. Like I was like, because at first he was like kind of being nice. He's like, Wanda, I can't or whatever. And he seemed like he was trying to be nice and understanding of her circumstances because she was snapped away, so she's been missing out on what happened. But then like the fact that he was like, come over here, look at this. And it's just the person she loved, head over here, arm over here, leg over here. Like she didn't even know what the hell was going on at first. She was like, what am I looking at here? Because she imagines the person she loves, and then she looks down there and he's just like, look at those hunks of fucking metal down there.
That they're sawing through. Look at that, they're sawing his forehead right now. You can see.
They mustn't have been doing very well though if they've been doing this for like 5 years. You know what I mean? Because that's
well at the end of the episode, when we see that post-credit scene, he does say, we've disassembled and reassembled him like 300 times or something. So I think he's been trying. I think I think he's been like trying for so long, and he's like,
That's
and no, we finally have the
right.
key.
That's right.
So I think he was just constantly trying to make this thing a weapon.
Uh, yes. So
So anyway, Wanda
she
jumps down
breaks.
there.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
breaks through just how they show in the video that he was
Hmm.
showing everyone else. She does break down, and now something like, oh, she is gonna lose it. We are gonna have like a Darth Vader in the hallway kind of scene right here. She's just gonna
She gonna grab his torso in this hand and his head in this hand, and she's going
or like
run out of there.
the popping superhero from the boys that just like head started to blow up. Like,
Yeah,
I was like,
she could totally do that.
here we
She
go.
could totally do that. The only thing I could think of when she went down there and all those guys are pointing the guns at her, like how easily she could have just killed Hayward there too. Like she could just control all of them. Oh my god, this is
That's what I was
crazy.
like. At this point, I still thought she was going to take it and get out of there, but I was still thinking like, this doesn't seem like it's matching up because like she's in front of people, like she's had no resistance, you know. So I was thinking like this is still not.
And this is another reason why you could argue that she's one of the most powerful Avengers. Yeah,
She can just use direct magic and kill you, or just mind control you and turn all your guns on someone else, right?
yeah, it's crazy.
And so I think
she
she's
goes
gonna,
to Vision's head.
yeah.
She like tries to do the same thing she did to the Mind Stone when he was alive, where she's like, "I just feel you,"
Mm.
and here she's like crying and she says, "I can't feel you." So this was kind of her acceptance. He's really gone. He ain't coming back. That's what she thinks.
And she just leaves. And I still thought when she was in the car, I was like, she's going back in there. She's gonna like
I know.
like freak out. She's gonna see these flashbacks and she's gonna go in there and start popping heads.
And take the body, right? And take the body. So this is where one of my predictions was wrong. After I saw the videotape footage, I thought she stole the body. And I thought she brought it and resurrected it with a spell. And that's where I was wrong. She doesn't actually have his body.
I thought for sure she at least had his body. I thought that it wasn't his actual physical dead body moving around. But I thought
it could have been. I
thought his body was there though.
I thought it could have been, especially when she saw him in that one episode she saw him dead for a second.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it's not his real body. We learned that.
Back up to the director real quick too. Back in The Office, there was a bunch of weird things too. First of all, he was like, "Come over here and look at the love of your life getting like sawed in pieces," and I was like, "Definitely seems like you're trying to egg her on here," Secondly, he kind of like put the idea in her head there. He's like, "Oh, maybe I don't know if I can let you see him," and she's like, "Why?" And he's like, "Well, you could." Not everyone has the potential to bring someone back to life.
Right.
And she's like, I can't do that. Like, kind of like in her head, realizing like maybe I can.
Yeah. And she's like, that's not why I'm here.
Yeah. And it seemed like he knew that she potentially could, though. You know what I mean?
Which I didn't know that. Like, I didn't know she could do that.
Was he just hoping that she would like turn him on though for them? Like, power source,
maybe, because that's the one thing that maybe why he said it is because he knows their connection with the Mind Stone.
Yeah.
So maybe he knows that because she has the power of the Mind Stone that.
Yeah. And then he lets her go down there. He's like, everyone hold your guns. And I'm like, you're not being nice. Like, you're trying to like make something happen here. You wanted her to go down there and do something. So that's just, again, making me think like, he knows something else, and it might just be the whole Vision thing, because at the end we do see there's more to the Vision thing going on after the end credits. But I don't know, like I was just like, what is this dude doing here? He's up to something. I don't trust this dude. Like what we were saying though before, she does get to her nice car here, and she drives away, and I'm just like, what? Like, she didn't get the body. And
but she did have a little letter on the passenger seat.
She did have the letter,
which she reveals when she gets to this plot of land in Westview, New Jersey. So there's a real town called Westview. She's driving through it and looking around, and we see all of these characters that were in WandaVision. We see Herb,
and they all look sad.
Yeah, they look, the guy who said piano, like that was my grandma's piano. He was putting up signs that said piano lessons
Yeah.
on the wall. You see Mrs. Hartman,
Just
or
like
what's her name?
sitting.
Mrs. Hart. Mrs. Foreman, I meant.
Put them
Mrs.
together.
Yeah. And she's hanging out at some coffee shop, just.
She looks sad. Like everyone looks sad.
Yeah, they did. And I think there was a point to it too in one of the episodes where I can't remember who says it, but like, these people have better lives now. In WandaVision, they have better jobs. I think Pietro says it to Wanda.
Oh, yeah.
It's not who they are though. So Wanda goes to this plot of land. It's like the outline of a house, but there's nothing there. And she opens this letter, and it's a deed to the land from Vision saying to grow old in. So Vision at some point, and I don't know when he would have done this, went and purchased this plot of land.
Yeah.
Not sure why he picked there. I think they just wanted as normal of a life as they could get in suburban New Jersey, I guess.
Yeah. And it's circled with the heart too, which is also like the first episode. The calendar date was circled with the heart.
Mm-hmm.
So it might just be a reference to that, or it could be another double meaning. You know what I mean?
Could be a double meaning.
As far as like, that's what she kind of put it in her episode because of that on there.
This moment here, this was the epitome of her loss. This is kind of where it all came together. This is where like even she lost her future that she wanted, with Vision. She's lost her parents. She's lost her brother. She's lost Vision. And now she's lost like everything that was making her happy. And that's where she like hit rock bottom, and her heart like explodes. No, like literally it like explodes. And it starts with like, it builds this house around her. It's like everything she wanted, and it builds this nice house on this plot of land. And then it stops there. And then she just lets out an even bigger explosion. And that's when it just encompasses Westview. And it turns it all to that first episode style. Black and white, to that TV show she was watching back in Sokovia before that bombing happened. Kind of her happy place, right?
Exactly.
Her escape from the trauma. Her escape when that bomb didn't go off. Again, she's faced a time of trauma in her life, and this was her escape. And it shows her creating the Vision.
I did not see this coming in a million years.
Just doing a back freaking range of motion extension, like
just hyper extension,
just
hyper lordosis there.
I hurt my back watching that.
I know, I can't go there.
She's like the limbo champion
of Westview, and the prizes of Vision.
And I like how Vision, like it starts red out of her chest, and by the time it gets to Vision, it's like yellow, that like beam of energy.
Yeah, like the Mind Stone.
And then Vision's in that, and then he's in that black and white, like the Dick Van Dyke Show. And he's like, "Welcome home, Wanda." And so now we know who Vision is and how he was created in this.
Second Vision. Not the same Vision. So she made a superhero.
Not the same one. And this is kind of, she made one, but this is where I'm a little confused. Because she created him, but he still has free will. It's kind of weird that she created him and can't control him.
Yeah.
So I would find a little bit more of an explanation on how he later on can like divert from everything she does.
Maybe
you would think that if she created him, she would control him.
Yeah. Maybe she made him with free will and everything. And just because of his limited knowledge, she was hoping he would just go along with her world.
Could be.
You know what I mean?
Could be. But again, it's, she did not mean to create this. Remember back when she says like, I don't know how this happened. I think this was just like, she just wanted all of this so bad.
Yeah.
And it just manifested itself out of her grief, right? Out of her despair. I don't think she didn't like, come up with a plan. I'm going to do this. It just happened. And all of a sudden, just like that. So like, of course, like she's happy all of a sudden. She's in her happy place. And of course she's not going to want to leave that,
Yeah, and so she like made a superhero. Like he can fly, he can still do his powers, his phasing in and out. She made a superhero. Like that's like the
Yeah.
most powerful. She made Vision too, who is like arguably the other most powerful superhero in the MCU. He's Superman who could phase through things. He's made out of vibranium. Like he's super smart. He can do computer shit. So
Yeah.
like she made another super strong super. Like it wasn't just like a Captain America she made. Who Captain America, great superhero by the way. He's my favorite hands down. But like this is top notch. This is a guy that can lift Mjolnir, right? So
Right.
those kids are real. Then she made kids then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because she probably did the same thing what she did with them, and I was kind of wondering if she transformed the body parts
Yeah.
of Vision. That's what I thought the body was doing there. I thought she was like transforming parts of him.
Yeah.
But again, too, now I'm just kind of rolling on this idea here with the kids and how she made them. It was still odd though, because it kind of seemed like it was sort of like an inception idea for the kids.
Yeah.
The fact that there was no kids in the town. Even Agatha was like, "You simply must have children," or something like that to her, and everyone's like, "For the children." Like it seemed like it was like Inception.
They're trying
like,
to manipulate her into having kids. It seemed like.
Yeah, and so she had kids, but it kind of seemed like it's come from somewhere else. But I mean, maybe it was her. But again, too, the hearts.
Maybe again, she just wanted it so badly or something, and
yeah. She wrote the plot for it. She wanted it so bad. But even the hearts too. Remember, they were like, "Why aren't you guys married? Why aren't you married?
Why don't you have children?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then the next thing you know, she had a ring on too. Like the next episode, I think, the two of them, after they were asked not being buried. So it's like, is that just like her desires that sort of manifested through the story, or is that someone else still influencing it or something? I don't know. The director, though, I wouldn't put it past him that he somehow messed this up. And again, Vision, who was being tracked from the outside by the director. And we talked about how Vision was a weapon. So how is he tracking that Vision? Just because she made him? Does he have like the same?
Because they said he was tracking the vibranium decay before, but it's like, so did she create vibranium again? Like what? So I need this explained a little bit to me. I still need a little bit of an explanation on, how does this Vision? I guess I just need it explained a little bit. So we'll see in episode 9 if they do.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden she's in a theater, and Agatha just claps. Because remember, she's still like in Agatha's basement. And Agatha she's in like a TV set,
like sitcom where they film sitcoms with the live studio audience, and they actually a real studio that they filmed the first 2 episodes on, where they actually had a live studio audience for it, for the sitcom.
Oh, very cool, very cool. And then she hears Agatha disappears, and Wanda hears her kids screaming her name, so she like sprints out of Agatha's dungeon, and she gets out, and Agatha is holding them with like these purple leashes, and she's like choking them, and they're like, "Help us, Mom, help us." And Agatha spurs off and Agatha, by the way, looks nasty. She like looks so different. She really looks like a witch.
Yeah.
And she's flying, and she's got a cool witch outfit on. And she's basically like, "Wanda, you're too dangerous. Your magic is chaos.
Too dangerous to be kept alive."
I am the witch.
I am the Scarlet Witch.
She must stand trial.
They must stand trial.
They must stand trial. And anyway, that's what we end with, we think, is where she's like, "You are the Scarlet Witch."
Yeah, you can create things. There's only been one legend or being powerful enough
to do that.
You must be stopped. So now I'm kind of like, oh, maybe Agatha isn't entirely bad. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know where her motives are now. So there's still some question marks. A lot was answered, but there's still some question marks.
There was another post-credit scene, like the last one.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy happened in the last one, though. It was kind of like, Whatever.
Yeah.
We could have just found that in another episode.
Yeah.
This was pretty wild. I was not expecting this. They boot Vision up. They boot him up. They use the wing that she had, that she wanted.
Missile or something. Yeah.
Yeah, the drone thing
had the red trace of Wanda's magic on it.
Mm-hmm. And they used that to power up the Vision body they had, because she never took the real Vision, and he powers up and he's like all blue too.
He had like the Tony Stark.
It looked like he had like a Tony Stark arc reactor like in his head there too. If you look at it, you zoom in on there.
Right.
So is that kind of the technology they had most recently tried on there, but maybe like her power was able to work with that and get it to go. Maybe that's why he's blue too, like the arc reactor in Tony Stark's chest.
Right. And he looks freaking, oh geez, I'm nervous now.
And it's what is left of him in there? Because we even talk about, they talk about it in Infinity War. He's made up of Ultron, Tony, Bruce, the Infinity Stone, and of course he had his own life too, right? That's got to count for something in his makeup.
So is it like he's the body and the Vision inside is the soul? Inside WandaVision is the soul? I don't know.
Almost what I wonder. That's a good explanation there.
Maybe not. I'm just nervous. I don't want this thing. He's going to be, I'm nervous about this Vision.
So
he looks mean.
We're going to have Wanda probably kill this Vision. All right, so here's my speculation here on the Vision thing.
Okay.
I think we could have one happy ending where somehow the Vision she made maybe goes back into this old body, or maybe he's able to live. Maybe she stays in this world. There are some possible happy endings. I don't think we're going to get that. I think the message of this show has been to confront your grief. You've got to move on. Even though it sucks, it's going to be freaking terrible. You have to accept it and move on.
Right.
I think the Visions might even have a showdown. It might even be like, there might even be some
Vision on Vision action.
Vision on Vision.
Okay.
Oh, there's Vision on Vision,
Hey. Some fisticuffs, eh?
Hey, you want to fight here, do you, Vision?
They just both grow giant mustaches. Okay. They just take their shirts off and their pants are like up to their nipples. So this is gonna be exciting.
What I'm thinking though, like I said, because we're dealing with grief and all that stuff going on here, I'm thinking she's gonna have to kill the real body, which is going to be terrible because this will be the second time she's killed him. and then I think she's gonna have to realize she's got to let go of this world and move on, and she's gonna lose her made up Vision and potentially even her kids.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. I think she's gonna lose all three, and I'm not ready for it.
And then we're gonna have a sequel to WandaVision where she like does it all over again because she's so.
just has quintuplets.
Yeah,
2 Visions.
Just two double everything next season. She captures Westview and Eastview. Oh man!
But what do you think's gonna happen with Vision?
My question is this leading to another season of WandaVision? Is it going to wrap itself up? Or is it going to lead into a movie, maybe say Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness movie? Could it be?
I've
heard rumors about it.
That's what I've heard too.
I kind of wanted it to be wrapped up. I want a nice finish to this. I really hope there's not a cliffhanger because it's hard enough to wait 1 week with these episodes. So I don't know what I'm gonna have to do if I have to wait a freaking year or two before the next one. Yeah, I don't see it ending well for Wanda. I'm hoping for some Vision on Vision action. Sacrifices are gonna have to be made, and she's gonna have to basically get over
it. Just get over it. Come on. Get over it.
And she's gonna have. I think she's gonna have to. She's gonna have to give up her happy place here. I think she's gonna have to go back to the real world. We'll see.
But I do think that she's gonna become like the ultimate version of herself, though. Is what I do think.
Oh yeah, I think so. I think she's been already discovering new powers she didn't know she had.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see her real like comic book costume come in here this episode.
Oh, I hope so.
After she gets rid of everything. And I think that she might even tie in then. She might be the other person in the multiverse of madness. Because again, we've got this Pietro here from the X-Men universe. So I'm still thinking we're going to tie in the multiverse stuff here through this.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
And two, with Doctor Strange, one, he's another magician. We've been seeing more magic stuff in this one. I did see somewhere a meme or something that Doctor Strange, you do see like this scene where they have like up on a wall, I think they have like all these hexagon shapes all together, like these wooden things. So like, was this always something that was set up like that? This also hexagons too. Another thing in the MCU are the shapes of those not the time, but basically the version, the MCU's version of Lightspeed, the jumps.
Oh, okay.
In like Guardians of the Galaxy, when they're going from one distant spot in space to another, they go through those hexagon jumps.
Right.
So is that like basically the building block of this universe? You know what I mean? And I think that this is setting it up. I think that this show's kind of setting up that the MCU and the hexagons and all this stuff. It's pretty crazy how consistent they've been.
This is gonna be a total mind fuck.
We're all gonna look like Thor when he was going through the thing in Thor Ragnarok when he's gonna go meet Jeff Goldblum. The last episode.
Well, we have our predictions. We enjoyed episode 8. It was a great flashback Ghost of Wanda past episode, and we got a lot revealed about Wanda. And I can't wait for the finale. So let us know your thoughts below. What are your predictions for this final episode and the future of the MCU? Otherwise, we hope you like the video. We hope you subscribe, and we hope to hear your thoughts.
It's like we always say. Goodbye.
Goodbye.